from Afghanistan. One is dealing with the humanitarian economic crisis, and then, as you said, terrorist activity from Afghanistan vis-a-vis Al-Qaeda. We have in Pakistan been facing the brunt of terrorism and extremism over the past many decades, and so have, of course, the people of Afghanistan. It is in our interest and in the world's interest that there is a peaceful and stable Afghanistan that does not have its soil used for terrorist activities within the international, within the region or anywhere else in the world. There are questions as far as the capacity of the new regime to tackle this problem, and it is important for us to engage with them, as far as our security concerns are concerned, or terrorist activity from any group impacting any country is concerned. But what I must emphasize is that Pakistan is not only a victim of terrorism. I am a victim of terrorism. And I am a victim of terrorism and terrorist groups that operated in my country and operated in another country. But when I plead the case for humanitarian assistance for Afghanistan, for the people of Afghanistan, or when I plead the case of us all working together to try and ensure that we halt the complete and utter collapse of the economy in Afghanistan, that is in spite of or regardless of my views or whoever else's view, anybody else's views vis-a-vis the regime that is imposed in Afghanistan at the moment. It is because we're particularly concerned about the consequences of a humanitarian crisis of this scale on our border. With the United Nations saying that 97% of the people of Afghanistan will descend below the poverty line, where the families in Afghanistan, through no fault of their own, are facing starvation. I believe we must work closely with the international community and with the Muslim world to help avert a humanitarian crisis and to help avert a total economic collapse, so that we can be in a better position to ensure that the Afghan regime lives up to the international commitments, so that we can create the environment that reduces and does not increase the chance of terrorist activity, and so that we can emphasize with the Afghan government, with the Afghan regime, that they must live up to their commitments to the international community. They must live up to their commitments to the people of Afghanistan, and that includes the women and children in Afghanistan.
Thank you. Can we have a question from the back here?
Thank you very much. This is Shaukat Paracha from Aaj Television. My question to the young, dynamic, and the youngest Foreign Minister of Pakistan, His Excellency Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, is that it's heartening to note that you are reaching out to the major capitals and interacting with the world leaders. What has been their response in the policy that you are pursuing? Because every time there is something, the foreign policy is pointed out in one or the other way. And Honorable Foreign Minister of Germany, thank you very much for coming over. We are so excited that our director, one official, is wearing a dupatta containing the German flag. Right now, she's sitting over there. My question to you is, you repeatedly talked about the international law vis-a-vis Ukraine. Official is wearing a dupatta containing the German flag. Right now, she's sitting over there. My question to you is, you repeatedly talked about the international law vis-a-vis Ukraine, but what is the applicability of the international law, humanitarian principles, in case of Kashmir? Why the global powers are silent? Why there is no voice about the rising Islamophobia in India, as you have seen the recent outrage in the entire Muslim world about the comments, whatever they have been made by the spokesperson of the ruling party? Why the word is silent? Thank you.
Should I start with your... I'll start with your first question. Shukriya Paracha Sahab, thank you very much. I've only been in the this office for a little bit over a month now. But our priority in 3 words is engagement, engagement, engagement. We feel that if you don't talk with the world, if you don't engage the world, you can't put across Pakistan's view, you can't convince them, their societies, their leaders, their parliamentarians, their civil society. If Pakistan refuses to engage the world, then we must forget about being able to convince the world and achieve our objectives on a foreign policy front. Other than that, my priority is to focus on economic relations. We're working towards a pivot in Pakistan's diplomacy, towards economic diplomacy. We're encouraging a reset of our relationship with countries across the board, given the transition in government, and we're focusing on a more nuanced foreign policy, but our emphasis is trade over aid. Our emphasis is enhancing economic cooperation. As I mentioned earlier today, Germany and Pakistan's economic bilateral relations are great, but we want to get more out of our relationships. And the major priority for me as Foreign Minister of Pakistan is how can I ease the economic difficulties of my people. And on the sort of main agendas on our list on that front is the FATF restrictions, the FATF restrictions that are causing a drag, an unnecessary drag on the Pakistani economy in difficult times, the GSP plus status that Pakistan had won with Europe in previous governments. We're very keen to see that that status is extended, and the Pakistani businesses and the Pakistani economy can benefit from this opportunity. So these are my priorities, and as far as the India question is concerned, I'll allow Foreign Minister to respond.
Thanks for your kind words, and thanks for the question. The foundation of the United Nations is that human rights are indivisible, and this counts for every region in the world. This also counts for Kashmir. This counts for women's rights. This counts for minority rights and also religious rights. And therefore we support the work of the United Nations, also with the situation in Kashmir, to ensure that all the human rights are being guaranteed within the different bodies of the United Nations. We are not part of the Security Council, as you know, but within the work also of the Human Rights Commission and of the Special Envoy. And we believe that a constructive approach from both sides and confidence-building measures are the only way forward to improve the relationships between Pakistan and India. The bilateral agreement to implement the ceasefire along the line of control last year was a positive step. We also discussed it in our talks earlier on. We believe that more steps should follow this line, and I think it's really a strength of different governments if there's a provocation that one doesn't react but really stands to its own and the international principles.
Thank you. Can we have a question from the lady here in the middle?
Hello, Daniela Farkas from the newspaper network Redaktionsnetzwerk Deutschland. I want to address the topic of Afghan refugees. There's still a couple of thousand refugees officially eligible for coming to Germany. Did you agree on a way and on a time when these people can come to Germany, and how is Pakistan helping with that? Could they all be transferred, by example, through Pakistan? And also, sir, what do you expect in exchange from Germany for helping in this issue? And Ms. Baerbock, humanitarian organizations do criticize that the conditions for being able to come to Germany for Afghans are too strict, are too narrow. Is there any? Are there any plans to widen these possibilities? And one last question, if I may, as you addressed